Welcome to Nomad Yoga. This is a continuation of the lower back series. It's been a few weeks since I've put out any videos. In this video, I'm going to be looking at ways to release the hip flexors, which is an area which a lot of us are very tight in, probably because we spend far too much time sitting. So the hip flexors attach deep in the groin on the front thigh, and then they come up through the pelvis onto the lower back. And the reason why they get shortened from sitting is because of this angle. If we spend long enough like this, then when we come up to standing, it to some degree stays like that. So it's really important to regularly open up the front of the pelvis and the front of the hips. So first things, if you're a bit taller like me, you may want to sit on a little bit more height. Most chairs are designed for people of about 5'7" or so. And so you need to sit that your hips are at least the same height as your knees, and preferably even a little higher than the knees. So the first exercise we're going to do is from a seated position, and it's a way of releasing the hip flexors from sitting. So I would recommend doing this at least a couple of times an hour. And so every half an hour, let's say, and then do it 2 or 3 times. So what you do is you come out of the chair, tilt your pelvis back, bring your front ribs in, reach up with the arms, and then finally take a breath into the belly. Sit back down. We'll do that 3 times. So come up to standing. Tilt the pelvis back, keep the knees a little bent, front ribs in, reach up with the arms, so not like this, but reach right up, take a breath into the belly, sit back down, and one more time, tilt the pelvis back, front ribs in, reach up with the arms, take a breath. So doing that every half an hour, you'll find that at the end of the day, there's a little more length in the front of the pelvis. Next one we're going to do is lying down on the floor. So for this exercise, you'll need a block or a hard-covered book. You can see it's not a very tall block, it's fairly low. And this is to open up the front of the pelvis as well. So lie onto your back. Take the block under the hips and bring your knees in toward your chest. Place your left foot onto the floor and then let the left knee drop out to the side while keeping the pelvis still. So what I'm doing is I'm using my thumbs on the front of the pelvis to check that the pelvis is not moving. Bring the left knee up. So you're just freeing up the left hip first. Drop the left knee out first. And bring it back up. Hold the right knee. Extend the left leg down to about 70% of straight. Make sure the kneecap is pointing straight up to the ceiling. The back of the head down into the floor so the chin is pointing straight up to the ceiling. Keep holding the right knee. Squeeze the left buttock. Release. Squeeze the left buttock again. Release. While holding the right knee, extend the left arm up and extend down into the left heel. So you can straighten the knee a bit more now, to about 80 or even 90% of straight. Take a breath up the back of the body into the belly. Stay like that for one more breath and make sure your kneecap is not turning out. So you want to try and keep that left kneecap facing up to the ceiling. Bend your left knee, hold both knees in toward the chest. Place the right foot onto the floor. Drop the right knee out to the side with the thumbs on the front of the pelvis to check the pelvis is not moving. Bring the right knee up and across. Again, drop the right knee out to the side just to free up the hip, and bring it back and across the body. Hold the left knee, extend the right leg down to about 70% up straight, kneecap facing straight up to the ceiling, weight in the back of the head, squeeze the right buttock. Release. Squeeze the right buttock again. Release. Watch that your chin doesn't collapse like this, so keep the chin straight up. Then extend a little further down into the right heel. Keep holding the left knee. Take the right arm up. Breathe up the back of the body into the belly. Stay like that for one more breath. Keep holding the left knee, keep the right kneecap facing up to the ceiling. Opening up that whole right side. Bend the right knee, hold both knees, draw them in toward the ribs. Place the feet back down. Remove the block from under the hips and bring the knees in toward the chest one more time. So then roll onto your side, come up to sitting. So those are a couple of simple ways to release the hip flexors. And if you're having lower back pain or stiffness, these will be really useful to help free up that area. And I would recommend doing this in the morning and the evening, especially if you're having to sit a lot during the day. You do this a couple times every morning and every evening, and after a few days you will notice that there's some space in the lower back and a little more freedom in the front of the hips. Thanks for joining me today on Nomad Yoga. Namaste.